Amidst massive backlash on Karnataka reservation bill, government has put on hold the controversial bill mandating reservations for Kannadigas in the private sector. Now the government says that they will discuss the bill in the upcoming cabinet meeting. Karnataka government announced job quotas bill for Kannadigas. The bill sought to reserve 50% of management jobs for and 75% for non-management jobs. By management jobs, they meant jobs of higher positions like managerial, supervisory and technical, whereas non-management categories involved unskilled, semi-skilled and clerical positions. Top industrialists have criticized Karnataka government's move, saying that this bill will compromise the hiring process. Similar job reservations have been passed in states like Haryana, Himachal Pradesh and Maharashtra as well. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee I beg your pardon, stirred controversy over land acquisition of Tata Motors automobile factory at Singur, which made headlines. And now Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah is on the headlines. With Karnataka government withholding the bill, is this a right call or not? Is this bill helpful for the state, or will it compromise the fate of our very own Silicon Valley? We'll talk about this with our guest. Joining us on the show is Mr. Bhaskar Rao, BJP spokesperson. Shatabish Shivarna, Congress spokesperson, also joins us on the show. Dr. Jayajit Bhattacharya, President for the Center for Digital Economy Policy Research, joins us on the show as well. Vrinda Adige, activist, also with us on the program. Last but by no means the least, Dr. Satish Rath, a doctor and entrepreneur and a tech expert, also joins us on the program. He's also a resident of Bangalore in Karnataka. Well, thank you everyone for being a part of this important discussion. Mr. Bhaskar Rao, I'll begin with you if you're there with us. Mr. Rao?
Yeah, I'm there.
What do you feel about this? This at the onset, just the sound of this seems very unconstitutional to me. Let me finish my question, sir. Let me finish my question at least. Or do you want to answer something on your own, sir, without letting me complete my question? My question is, this already sounds unconstitutional to me, sir. Do you think that it was pressure which was mounted by the who's who of Karnataka and Bangalore that has made the Congress party in Karnataka withhold this kind of a rollout? Mr. Rao, go on.
Yeah, please don't look at this legislation in an isolated way. It is not the Congress's intention to increase the employment prospects of Kannadigas, though local interests should be protected. But in this present case, it's a purely diversionary tactics of Congress, because it is surrounded by so many scams and so many instances of price rise that they want the entire narrative to shift out. The discussion should be shifted from the real issues plaguing the normal people over there. We all know that this is going to be against Article 19 of the Constitution. Other states have tried and are not being successful. So I am sure the government also is aware of it, and the industry is also very much upset and angry at this decision. Employment needs to be increased for localites. We all are in unison about it. But overnight, with a piece of legislation, you cannot increase prospects. You have to have investment in skill training, higher education, and create opportunities and create an environment for the whole thing. But this particular legislation which was brought in and hastily the government did a U-turn only smacks of some kind of a political turmoil that is taking place, which they want to hide over there. So please don't take it as a case in which they have the interest of...
All right, so we can't hear you. Let me, in fact, bring in Mr. Shatabish Shivarna as well. Mr. Shivarna, thank you for speaking with NewsX. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can.
Well, like Mr. Rao said, that's anything related to, the quota and the right for equal opportunities is also, a mashup with certain constitutional clauses, including Article 19. How do you look at this? And, perhaps the government of Karnataka thought that this was going to be a populist move, but it's backfired. Do you think?
No, not at all. And let me remind you that the bill is on hold, but don't write it off just yet. The bill is on hold for the reason that certain uninformed vested interests created a massive uproar of the issue, and the opposition in Karnataka very casually politicized it. Let me start off by giving a statistic. Bangalore or Karnataka is the 4th largest technology cluster in the world, number 1 in India Innovation Index, first in IT service export, top 3 in FDI flows, 40% share in electronic designs in India, machine tool manufacturing 52% share, aerospace and defense manufacturing 65% share, biotech production 60% share. We host up to 25,000 startups. How do you think we have managed this? It is because the government of the day engages in a fruitful manner with all the industries. And the goal of the Congress government is to create a global workforce using local talent, while also encouraging global investments and creating employment opportunities. It is shoddy that the BJP says we're trying to do something against the interests of the people. Absolutely not. And Karnataka has not emerged as a tech hub merely because of the sheer number of companies that are present in Karnataka or merely because of Bangalore's good weather. It is because the government of the day takes proactive measures in ensuring that the industries have a conducive environment to flourish in. And please let me tell you, and they may say that all the big wigs of the industry are against it. Absolutely not. Please take the statement of Mr. Salil Parekh, the CEO and Managing Director of Infosys. What has he said? He has said we back the move of the government. Even Infosys is saying this, the BJP is opposing it. What pains the government of Karnataka today is that the foremost challenge that is gripping the state is unemployment. The youth of the state is unemployed, may it be in the urban population or the rural population. It is because of the adverse economic policies implemented by the government at the center. And I think, and making it increasingly difficult for the youth to secure jobs in their own motherland. It is incumbent, I feel, upon the government to shape its policies in alignment with the interests and welfare of the people. And this government, especially under the leadership of Sri Siddaramaiah, whenever it comes to critical issues such as land, language, water, and culture, we have showcased unparalleled determination. And we will not compromise on it. But having said that, we are not opposed to the industries. We are open for a wider range of consultation, and the Minister of ITBT, Minister of Industries, has stated very clearly that we are open for a wider range of consultation, but keeping in mind the interests of the people of Karnataka. It is paramount that their interests are protected in the state.
All right. Let me also, in fact, get a word in from Mr. Jayajit Bhattacharya. Mr. Bhattacharya, how do you look at the situation? Is there a side to it, this quota system, I mean, that you support and endorse?
Anyone in the right mind cannot be supporting this kind of a quota system.
Exactly.
We in a country where we decided to stay together as various states where there is mobility of people. Let's just look at this, just the mobility of people. If you're saying that you move from Delhi to Karnataka and you will not get a job because you are a Delhiite and there is a stamp on your face that you're a Delhiite, that is discrimination. Then why are we together as a country? Over a period of time, every single state will come out with their own reservations. Rajasthan will have their own reservation. Andhra Pradesh will have their own reservations. And so the question will come that if a Kannadiga travels to Delhi, should we give them a job? Because they are getting 75% reservation in Karnataka, 100% reservation in certain areas in Karnataka, and similarly all over the country. All of the states will put up guard saying that if you are not letting our people take jobs, will not let your people take jobs. And therefore, regionalism will flourish at its highest way. Now, instead of working on trying to create more jobs, a very simplistic argument is being given that, look, my constituency, here is a simple cake I'm going to give you. I'm going to snatch jobs from others and give it to you without telling the full story. Because the full story is that over a period of time, whichever company it is, be it Infosys, be it Wipro, be it a manufacturing company, they will move away from places where it is not conducive to operate. And we have seen that happening earlier in West Bengal. Companies with headquarters in Calcutta moved out. The moment there was unrest, there was labor unrest, there was unionism, and so on and so forth. The same thing will get repeated when there is a problem in the operating environment. And so instead of creating and giving jobs, it'll actually start being a job destroyer. So it'll look like in the first 2 years that, yes, you're giving a lot of jobs to the locals, and therefore they will give votes. Over a period of time, they'll wake up and realize, oh my God, there are no jobs left. What is the cake that you're going to cut? Because the cake has become smaller and smaller. This is a very, very dangerous trend that's going on. We have seen the repercussions in Bangladesh where they are trying to put in 55%.
That's a good example. That's a very good example. Correct. Go on.
And the country is on fire right now. Is it fair? Why are we discriminating between humans? This is not acceptable. So at multiple levels, this is a very perverse step that has been taken.
Dr. Satish Rath, entrepreneur, is also joining us on the show. Dr. Rath, what do you make of the situation? You are from Bangalore, and Dr. Bhattacharya, in fact, made a very important connection there that look at what's happening in Bangladesh. You know, there's anarchy on the roads because a quota system has been introduced. Do you justify this? I mean, are people allowed to, get better positions in jobs just on the basis of, what caste they represent?
Definitely not. So thanks, Vinit, for having me on the show. And I've been in Bangalore, having multinational jobs, staying in Bangalore, headquartered in Bangalore for last 20 years, more than 20 years. And I've seen the real growth, what Bangalore actually is looking for. I don't see this as a, let's say, I think, we are looking at it a very narrow or microscopic view. Bangalore is a brand, is a global brand. Bangalore is not, only part of Karnataka. It is just not a part. It is going to be very difficult to limit Bangalore to be part of even India. Anywhere in the world, when you go, when you say you are from Bangalore, you are respected because you are coming from a very innovative city, very, very, highly multicultural city, a cosmopolitan city. And that's the core part why Bangalore grew even better than Hyderabad or a Chennai or a Cochin or a Calcutta or a Delhi or a Mumbai. Sometimes, we fail to appreciate that, why Bangalore houses a Toyota also, and in the verge of, let's say, attracting Tesla also, as well as it houses, Infosys or, let's say, an Intel or a Microsoft or a Google, or all kind of, let's say, manufacturing to IT to AI systems and everything. So this is only possible because of the meritocracy, the talent pool Bangalore has. Bangalore has got 25% of the world's, let's say, best talents. And whenever I'm as an entrepreneur, I'm a big corporate, I'm setting up a shop, I'm just looking for one thing, very highly skilled, labor force. And because, these labor force are available in Bangalore, even if the cost of setting up a company in Bangalore is very expensive. Despite that, why companies stick to Bangalore? Because, of that pure, talent pool. So I think if we are anyway deviating from this, it is going to be very, very difficult for corporates to operate out of it. We are going to lose our competitive edge. So what we are known in the world as Bangalore, I think, we are going to lose our edge. If you look for the similar, setup, what happened in Brexit, how London actually suffered, we know about the triangle also about between Belgium and France and the Netherlands, why they have to, combine as three countries so that, innovation can take shape. Let's take example of even US also, this, thing keeps on coming up as a political thing, but, whenever a new election comes up in US, you'll be seeing that, immigration has to be stopped, whereas, there would be other party who will be saying that party, US has grown because of immigrants. Let's see about, Satya Nadella, Sundar Pichai, most of, let's say US, big corporate heads are actually from Indian origin. So we need to take actually a leaf from there that, if growth has to happen, growth happens because of meritocracy and growth happens because of, private equity. So government jobs are going to be limited, whereas the real growth is going to come from private equity and which is going to be based on meritocracy. And when meritocracy is actually honored in any of the societies, any of the cities or any of the places in the world, we have seen that, those kind of, let's say, cities have actually grown. Let's take example of Tel Aviv, let's take example of, let's say, Vancouver, let's take example of, let's say, Singapore, let's take example of Melbourne. Many a times, these cities have thrived as innovation hubs because, they were actually cosmopolitan and they respected that, how things can be done. But, not to look at it only in a silo. I think, the locals, like, I'm also almost a Kannadiga now because I have been living for so long here. I feel that, where people should be really concentrating is not to see Karnataka as Bangalore. Let's say we have Dharwad, we have, Shimoga, we have Davangere, highly skilled places. And why we're not setting up shops there? When you actually encourage companies where the setting up shop is actually going to be less costly there. And obviously, there 90% of the pool are going to be locals. It is the way actually to promote, local hiring. Many of the companies, very, who are not very rich in research, who are not very rich in innovation, they can operate out of, Davangere very easily. They can operate out of Mangalore very easily. They can operate out of let's say, a Shimoga very easily, a Chitradurga very easily. So, that is the way actually to promote that, if you are setting up a big company here, maybe the BPO jobs or the lower management jobs, we are incentivizing you to come to this place where you benefit being a corporate And also we are benefiting the locals by getting into that. Same way, let's say, if you are a Kannadiga, you get a quota into the medical college systems, you get a quota into the engineering college system. Those are very proactive roles by the, current government. Same way, you should be incentivizing them. If I'm a Kannadiga, I should get actually a scholarship to get an apprenticeship or an internship into this company so that, they are exposed more. Because we hire continuously, we know that, people who belong to Bangalore, because they are exposed to this cosmopolitan culture, they survive very well into the corporate setup. Even if somebody is coming from IIT Kharagpur or IIT Kanpur, they struggle to, mingle in the, environment of Bangalore. Whereas if somebody is from Bangalore, they very easily actually, come up in the job ladder. So there are a lot of advantages. We should be thinking for the locals. I'm very much for that. But there are different ways of doing it. Instead of, creating an environment where maybe the FDI is going to come down, where companies are going to shift their shop from Bangalore to Hyderabad. That is something definitely none of us actually want. So Bangalore is an international brand. Let's not think it as a, brand of Karnataka. Let's not think it as a brand of, India alone. It is an international brand. And when Bangalore grows, all of us actually grow. And the most of the benefit is going to happen to the Kannadigas. We need to be a little bit proactive in thinking our policies. And this is possible. So it should not be only seen that, Kannadigas have to benefit because, they have been so welcoming. They have been so warm hosts. That's why, Bangalore has been, why Bangalore.
Right. Great points there. And Vrinda Dige, activist, is also joining us on the program. Vrinda ji, from a human rights perspective, is this unfair according to you? And does this also, stymie the spirit of competitiveness?
From a human rights point of view, this is unfair to Kannadigas. From a human rights point of view, it's unfair to Kannadigas who have given up their lands, and then you expect that their children or their grandchildren must go elsewhere to find a job. It is absolutely unfair that Kannadigas who want to stay here with their families and find jobs here, not compromising on merit, not compromising on talent. Because if anybody says that, talent is compromised, merit is compromised, we heard Mr. Satish just now say that Bangalore, that is not a problem. But we also have to address the issue of engineering colleges, medical colleges and other colleges, allowing other students more to come in because of the fee structures. So that part of it, my government has to work on it. But all that said, if we do not have this kind of a quota system, then there is no space for the people who gave up, thinking that their children or their grandchildren will have some employment and job in an industry or a company that is coming up on the place where they were probably doing agriculture or something else. Now, why this quota system? We all know that when lands and electricity and water and all of that is subsidized to companies, there is a small print saying that they will generate 1,000 jobs, for example, in that particular area, in that particular district or city for the natives. Has this happened? No. Will somebody now tell me by letter in statistics that this has happened? No. We also know hiring practices. There is a team or probably a committee, and very largely, the people who may be there from another city or another state favor people from their city and state. They do not say that, I have 10 candidates over here. Out of the 10, 8 of them are from Karnataka, 2 we can call from outside, and there are only 4 posts to fill. So it has to be probably 3 posts on the managerial for Kannadigas and 1 post for another person, which is okay because there is a balance that must be created. But if you now look on the other human rights point of view, is exploitation, cheap labor being available from other states, not probably in the managerial level, but certainly in the grade D and C and D, certainly available. We work with domestic workers, and earlier this was not a problem, but today a domestic worker cannot take a day off. Why? Because her job will be taken up or his job will be taken up by somebody else willing to work for 1/3 the wages. So that cheap labor, exploitation, I think we all have to take responsibility. Companies have to take responsibility. Educational institutions must take responsibility. At the end of the day, this Kannadiga has lost out. And like somebody pointed out, brand Bangalore is not just us giving land or water or electricity. It is also the people. And if this people is not respected, if that people are not accredited with what they have given up so that development can happen, not just for us, but for everybody, then I think it is time for us to demand. And you must understand that this demand did not come up yesterday. It's been on for the last 30, 40 years in different forms. But now it has come in this kind of a form. And irrespective of what anybody might talk about countries across the world, there are also countries that are together as a religion. One religion they may follow. But when it comes to language and when it comes to cultural heritage, they will not back off and say that, yes, because we belong to one religion, we are okay with you sidelining us. We are okay with you giving us, the short end of the stick. And then we feel very happy that, because of merit, somebody got. Really? Can you do a survey and actually tell us this is the merit that we are looking for and you Kannadigas lost out because of that? I challenge you to it.
Mr. Rao, how do you respond to the extremely sensitive and strong points that Vrindaji has made?
See, the most sensitive part in any state is employment and the state's interest. And as speaker after speaker has mentioned about brand Bangalore, Bangalore has come to this stage not because of a legislation, because of an ecosystem that was created way back 100 years ago by Nalvadi Krishnaraj Vadiyar and a succession of people over there. Yes, locals need jobs. There are ways of giving jobs to local, and locals are entitled, as Brinda pointed out, that they lose land, they lose opportunities, etc. But our contention is that we suspect the intention of the government itself. Surrounded by scams, they want to shift the narrative. There is no preparation. There is no preparation to give jobs to the locals. By a stroke of a pen or by a legislation, you cannot create hundreds of jobs for Kannadigas and throw out people who have come to work from different parts of the country. I've been the Commissioner of Police of the city. Every state of India is there in Bangalore. So Bangalore has its own flavor, it has its own brand. Now, yes, regional spirits are important, but by instigating regional spirits over here, you cannot make people fight with each other. As it is, there is so much of unrest going on all over the world, country, city, etc. This only is going to create more hatred and division over there. And if you insist on reservations, which private entrepreneur is going to tolerate this? He is the one selecting. He is the one paying them. He is the one demanding results. You are only going to create cesspools of unrest and inefficiency by way of subsidizing talent over there. Let market flow, but make the market strong. That is what we say, and we have been doing it all along. And by one piece of legislation, Congress party thinks that it can solve the employment problem or the unemployment problem of the state over there.
That's the only way to hold companies in compliance.
Okay, let Mr. Shivanna come back to this. Let Mr. Shivanna respond to what Mr. Rao has said. Mr. Shivanna?
At least we're trying to do something about the employment and the unemployment that is plaguing the youth of the state. And what has the central government done? It's been over 10 years and the unemployment keeps soaring across the state and statistics prove it. And I was listening to Dr. Bhattacharya say, people must be out of their mind to support a legislation like this. Then I think the CEO of Infosys and the entire cabinet of Karnataka is out of their mind.
Absolutely right.
Please let me. You think
let him finish. Let him finish.
You think the CEO of Infosys and the present managing director is out of his mind? Please allow me to read his statement. We are planning to work with all the regulations of the state government. We support whatever regulations and guidelines will come. But our approach in general is to make sure we are aligned to the interests of the people. Now, he must be out of his mind to say something. And I also heard him say that, a person who's stamped with a Delhi or any other state is uninvited or unwelcomed in the state of Karnataka. Absolutely not, sir. We are not denying the rights of any other person belonging to a different state their rights. We are merely advocating for the people of Karnataka. This government today is a pro-Kannada government and a pro-Karnataka government. As Mrs. Ariga rightly pointed out, This has been a long-standing call for over 4 decades now. People, pro-Kannada organizations have been fighting for it. And the BJP so conveniently politicizes the issue when it was their government, the Bommai dispensation, who first initiated talks with the pro-Kannada organizations. He said we will pass a bill, but it was our government who has done it. Let him consult his local leadership and let him state that we are opposed to this bill completely and we are against the fact that Kannadigas or people of Karnataka should get jobs. And we are not opposed to any other people from different states. And talking about global, you know, there are many countries and many cities that are global in nature, and as a mandatory requirement, when professionals seek employment in those cities, as a mandatory requirement, they're required to learn the language, may it be Spanish or German or Japanese in Tokyo. Do these cities cease being global merely because we promote our culture or our language? Absolutely not. The stance of the government, as I already said, our goal is to create a global
We've run out of time as well.
Using local talent.
All right, okay.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.